This is a review of 14-inch M2 Pro MacBook Pro, which is bought refurbished from Apple themselves. Now, this is not going to be a technical review because there are hundreds of channels in which hundreds of great YouTubers have given a great review on this particular machine, and you can go check it out. But this review is going to be from a lifelong Windows user's perspective, switching to a Mac, which is again a refurbished machine. Now, before we get started, I'd like to explain a few things, like what is Apple certified refurbished. So in few countries, Apple does this kind of a program where people who don't like their machines, or there's some kind of fault like a screen fault or a battery defect or a keyboard defect, and people return those machines. They take those machines, refurbish them and fix them up, change the batteries, fix everything up and sell them again, but on the refurbished website. And you would ask, why get those machines? Because they have been already returned because they had a fault. Well, first of all, the faults has been fixed, and second, the warranties and everything by Apple are the same as on a new machine. And obviously there's a huge discount on the refurbished products than on their new products. Now let's start with the unboxing so that you can see if there are any differences than buying a new machine versus this refurbished one, and how does the whole package come in to you as a consumer. So let's start with the box first. So the box isn't that different. The only difference is on the front of the box. Instead of having the picture of the MacBook Pro, it's just written MacBook Pro. And these pull tabs on the box feel as satisfying as they look on the video. Then we have the laptop itself, but let's keep that on the side and take a look in the pouch with all the paper, which has a thick cardboard for some reason, and the black Apple Pro stickers, which are only for Pro people. Let's take a look at the charger. So taking out the charger was a whole origami class, but the charger is nice and braided, and the end is a MagSafe end, which is magnetic. And then we have the charging brick. So it's a nice brick, nothing too unique. Then let's get this laptop out of the cover. Let's have a look to check if there are any defects on the body itself, because it's a refurbished machine and they don't replace the body. But I try to look at any scuffs or dents, which there aren't any. I tried looking at it everywhere, and the ports also look clear. There are no scratches or dents on the ports showing any kind of plugging in and plugging out again and again on the port, so that also looks clean. Let's open it up, and the MacBook just starts up itself, which is super convenient. And this beautiful hello screen. I'm just gonna start setting it up, which took a lot of time, and that is mostly because I spend way too much time making an emoji than I would like to admit. The last thing that I want to talk about before I talk about how my experience has been using this 14-inch M2 Pro MacBook Pro is the laptop that I used before it. This is really important for you to understand where all my opinions and comments are coming from. Alright, so first, just so that I can have it out of the way, this is the big 135 watt charger which I had for my Lenovo Legion Y530. It was a good gaming laptop, not the best even for its own time, but it was pretty good and did its work. And I always had to carry this charger around because the battery life was horrible, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours max, and the performance obviously dipped by a lot. I don't think you could use the GPU, the NVIDIA GPU that it came with. You only had to use the integrated Intel one. And this is the big chongus of a laptop that I had. This is a 15-inch screen, but the body itself is pretty huge because it needed to be cooled properly. The only good thing about this is that it had a ton of ports. Like you can see, like Ethernet, HDMI port, mini display port, USB, USB-C, charging ports, aux port. It has almost all the ports that you'll ever need. Almost, well, every port that I ever needed. But there are a few things that I absolutely hate about this laptop. The trackpad was borderline unusable. You can see this is a plastic trackpad with actually physically moving buttons, and the buttons became quite rattly and sticky, like it sticks to the bottom when pressed sometimes. And the tracking itself was pretty bad. The plastic surface of the trackpad kind of got sticky over time from all the sweat and grime and the dust. I always had to use an external mouse. Other than that, the keyboard was fine. The keyboard was actually absolutely fine. I just never used it because it was always on my desk where I used external keyboard and a mouse. But actually the keyboard was fine. The webcam, whenever I had to do calls, like video calls, I used the webcam on this laptop and it was on the bottom. So the picture quality and the angle both were pretty bad. The screen was fine. I never had any problems with the screen, but later on I did get to know that color accuracy was actually pretty bad when I started checking stuff on my phone before I posted. I'm not gonna go technical on this, but basically blues and purples kind of mixed together. There wasn't any proper difference between. Other than that, I always need to carry around my charger, as I said, and I always had to sit where I could find a plug point to kind of put in my charger and plug my laptop into power and then kind of use it so that I get access to the full efficient graphics card that this thing had, which was a 1050, which is not that powerful, but anything will do over an integrated Intel CPU graphics. And the worst thing about this laptop was the sound. When I was in a meeting or a classroom and I started this thing up, it was like a jet engine taking off, and my roommate and my classmates can vouch for it. It was so bad. It was like, but well, this served its purpose, but I'm kind of done with it now. Thankfully, now I have this machine. I'm going to talk about how this machine has made so many things much more convenient for me, and obviously what a Mac based device has allowed me to explore and do that I couldn't before by only being a Windows user. First of all, the form factor, it's smaller. It's a 14-inch screen, so it's smaller than my previous laptop, but it's big enough. I don't feel that much of a difference. The body is light enough that I can carry it anywhere. It's pretty light. It's not a back exercise to carry it around for 2 hours every day. So that's kind of great. Second, the battery life. The battery life is actually insane. Like, I've heard people talk about that the MacBook, the new M series processor MacBooks are insane for their battery life, but to actually experience it is something completely foreign to me. So I charge this usually once every 2 days, and I've been using this pretty rigorously, actually, like 6 to 7 hours every day at least, and I only charge it once every 2 days, and that is kind of insane in my opinion, because I'm coming from a laptop that needed charge to be plugged in most of the time and needed charge every 2 hours anyways. Second thing is how quiet it is. It has fans, never turned on. I have tried DaVinci Resolve, a bit of photo editing, multiple tabs of Arc, and obviously I got to try Arc because it was only on Mac, now it's on Windows. A lot of heavy Figma files and animations on Rive, and a bit of 3D on Spline, and the fans never turned on. It got a bit hot when I was charging and doing something heavy on the laptop, but that was not a concern at all. It wasn't unbearably hot or something. It was totally fine. And just the fact that it didn't need to be on a charger to use its full capabilities was amazing. This means I can take it anywhere I want without being embarrassed by the sound that it makes when it starts up. Obviously the startup is also faster, so it's like instant. I open the lid, it's already on. I really never have to worry about where I'm taking this, even if it has like 30% battery. Like I'm sure that it's gonna run at least 5 hours before I come back home and put it on charge. So I almost never have to carry the charger around. Like it's just freedom. Obviously the performance is snappy. Obviously it lags sometimes when there's a bunch of stuff open, but that's almost never usually the case. But otherwise this laptop is absolutely snappy. So for the ports, it has a HDMI port, USB-C, micro SD, and then the MagSafe port, 2 more USB-C ports on this side, and aux port, which is completely satisfactory for me actually. Like, I usually don't connect anything to this laptop, not even an external mouse, because I love using this trackpad. So this trackpad, obviously everybody knows that the Mac trackpads are the best in the business. Like, they're aluminum trackpads, haptic, and there are no moving parts. It always remains smooth, like it doesn't get sticky when you're sweating from your fingers or something, because it's, again, metal. I never thought that I will actually use a trackpad to do my work in Figma, but now I actually prefer a trackpad on this Mac. Other than that, the keyboard is fine. It's nothing too special. I like typing on it. It's not a bad keyboard at all. It's no mechanical keyboard, but it's just not bad. It's a great keyboard. And one added benefit to this Mac, which I never actually thought I will use, is the speakers. The speakers are great. They're amazing. So overall, nothing about buying a refurbished MacBook feels like it is refurbished. It absolutely feels like it's new. I have no complaints about my purchase, and there's no reason for me to feel like that I should have bought a new one instead of a refurbished one. So if you're looking for that affirmation, if you're thinking of buying a refurbished one, go for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Obviously, I'm speaking for the Apple certified ones. I don't know how other companies like Amazon and Best Buy go about it. I can only speak for the Apple one, but it's absolutely great. Few things having a Mac specifically allows me to do is things that I want to start exploring, like a bit of Swift UI and experience the apps which are only made for Mac, because I've heard that a lot of Mac only apps have like the most amazing UX, which would be great for me to learn from. There's also this new app, Play. Their Twitter handle is Create with Play. I'm kind of getting used to that application right now, but it kind of eases you into Swift UI by having a drag and drop interface for using Swift UI elements to make your designs, which can be made into a working prototype by either exporting the code, or you can just use their mobile app to play those prototypes on your phone. And it is only available for Mac and iOS. So just having both of these systems allows me to explore so much more than what I could do before. The conclusion to this video is the tool does not define the art that you're going to make. It is the art that defines what tools you need. If the work you do kind of makes you feel like you need to have a Mac and not the peer pressure, then go for it, because then it makes you better at your work. If you think that this is just something that you want and not exactly need, you can work up to it or something like that. I'm trying to sound smart, but I'm actually not. So you know what? Just do what you want. And if you want to see what I do later on with this machine, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Comment on this video if you think I forgot to mention something. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for stopping by. Keep creating.